Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive, a leader in boat insurance. Welcome aboard to Carefree Boating. Here, we don't worry about the what-ifs, because we explore with Progressive Boat Insurance for as little as $100 per year for a basic liability policy. Progressive also offers a variety of other coverages and can help you cover repair costs when you need it. And with discounts like multi-policy, safety courses, responsible driver, and more, your mind can really float free. Cruise on over to Progressive.com to get a quote today and see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Rate and discounts not available in all states or situations.
EVO. This series contains adult language and depictions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. Bordeaux. The year is 1603. The city stands at the crossroads of reason and faith, a port of wealth, wine, and whispers. And in the dungeons of the Palais des Lombriers, a man waits to die. He's not been tortured. He's not raved or lashed out. But he believes deeply, irrevocably, that he is a wolf. And that he has killed. It began with Bones, a vineyard near the outskirts of Bordeaux. The kind where vines grow in even rows like soldiers. A field worker discovered something strange among the roots. A human femur, cracked at the joint and gnawed at the ends. At first, they blamed wolves. But then came the second discovery. Ribs, a partial skull, a child's shoe. Veterinarians were called. The bites weren't consistent with animals, too shallow. Too deliberate. One of the bones had been split with something sharp, like a knife. The townspeople panicked, children vanished from farms, dogs refused to go into the rows of vines. Flocks scattered at dusk with no visible predator. Then came the sighting. A merchant's son claimed he saw a man, shirtless, crouched in the vineyard at twilight, licking blood from his fingers. Police found him the next morning, curled near the edge of a stream, his clothes torn, his face smeared with something red. His name? Jacques Roulet. Welcome back to The Devil Within, European Vacation. You're listening to The Beasts of France, Part 2. This is Chapter 1, The Werewolf of Bordeaux. At his arrest, Roulet didn't resist. He didn't tremble or plead. He was calm. He was gentle. He even thanked the guards. When questioned, he admitted everything. I was born under a broken moon, he said, and cursed with its hunger. He spoke of the ache in his bones when dusk fell, of his skin prickling like fur was about to push through, of a second voice that spoke only in growls. He wasn't dramatic. He wasn't delirious. He simply believed. I am what I was born to be, he told the magistrates, the wolf of God's left hand. When asked if he feared the noose, he smiled. I don't die as a man, he said, and so the rope cannot hold me. As the trial began, deeper layers unfolded. Jacques Roulet came from a respectable family. His father had been a scribe for a local nobleman. His brother had worked as a butcher. Both men vanished years earlier under unexplained circumstances. But rumors resurfaced, stories that were once dismissed as drunken gossip. A former priest recalled seeing the roulet men deep in the woods, lighting candles in a circle, smearing themselves with animal fat, reciting the Paternoster backwards. Another villager swore Jacques had once been buried alive, accidentally, in a mass grave during a plague scare. He clawed his way out, and when he emerged, he never blinked again. All the while, Jacques sat silently in the courtroom, occasionally nodding, even smiling. And he offered no defense. Desperate for clarity, the court summoned a physician, Dr. Arnaud, a student of Galenic medicine and humoral imbalance. Arnaud examined Roulet for hours. His diagnosis? Clinical lycanthropy, a rare psychological condition wherein a person believes they are transforming into a beast. This is not a wolf, Arnaud insisted. This is a man afflicted by delusion and untreated trauma. He urged compassion, treatment, isolation even, but not execution. His plea fell on deaf ears. The court didn't see a man. They saw a string of empty cradles, of bones carried in baskets, of parents shaking in their grief in church pews. And no one wanted to risk another moonrise. Therefore, the sentence came quickly. Death. But then, a twist. Perhaps it was the doctor's report, perhaps it was divine doubt, perhaps the judge feared executing a true monster. The death sentence was commuted. Roulet was remanded to a religious asylum. There, he would live under monastic guard, forbidden from speaking except in prayer, fed only broth, and locked in a room with no windows, where he couldn't see the light of the full moon. Some records claim he died within that first year. Others do not. One monk wrote years later of a patient who whispered to the wolves outside his cell and heard the wolves whisper back. A gate was found open, a robe folded neatly on the floor, and Jacques Roulet was never seen again. Modern Bordeaux is a place of luxury now. Wine tastings, restaurants with Michelin stars. The ghosts are kept behind glass. But the vineyard where those original bones were found still exists. It's a tourist destination, with weddings and photo shoots. But strange things still happen. Visitors report dead birds arranged in spirals near the vines. Dogs bark at nothing. Prints appear. Canine, but too large, too wide, stopping mid-row. And some have seen him, a cloaked figure crouched in the vines at dusk, not feeding, just watching. The land may forget, but the soil remembers. And hunger, like a curse, survives drought, flood, and fire. If you know a local legend from Bordeaux that no one dares to tell, or have your own encounter with the vines, email us at info@evocreative.com and follow us at The Devil Within Pod on Instagram. And if the story keeps you up at night, leave us a review so we know we're not alone in the dark. Chapter 2. The Black Beast of Normandy. 1917. The Western Front of World War I. France is bleeding. Shells fall like rain, trenches fill with water and bodies and fear. The stench of rot and cordite hangs in every breath. Men go weeks without sleep, without food, without hope. But just behind the lines, tucked into the pine-covered hills of Normandy, near the Argentan woods, soldiers begin whispering about something new. Not a sniper, not a tank. A black shape, massive and silent. It doesn't flee from bullets. It follows them. Private Henri Moreau had survived Verdun and the Marne. He didn't scare easily, but on the night of August 3rd, 1917, he was assigned to a listening post near the Rouet Woods, and he never returned. At dawn, searchers found only his boots, placed neatly side by side. Nearby, trees were marked with 4 deep grooves, 7 feet off the ground. No blood, no body, just silence. The army declared him a deserter, but his captain, an old Corsican, shook his head and whispered a word not heard since childhood. Bete. Beast.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to
Carvana.
Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
Choice Hotels gets you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like these road trippers making waffles and eating fresh fruit in their natural habitat. The breakfast area and a comfort inn. I just love seeing a vacation maximized in the wild. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Weeks passed, and rumors spread. A scout saw something crouched in the trees, its shape vaguely human, but too long, too still. Its eyes reflected light like coals, and it didn't blink. One night, a soldier swore he heard it breathing behind him. When he turned, he found only fog. Others found strange symbols scratched into dugout walls, spirals, runes, patterns that looked Celtic, older than Christianity, older than France. Locals had a name: La Bête Noire, the Black Beast. The officers dismissed it. War makes men see ghosts, they said. But the soldiers knew better. It wasn't death they feared. It was what came after. In October, after a gas attack, an entire squad went missing. They were found days later, alive, but raving. Their lungs filled with fluid, their minds burned with visions. 8 men, and every one described the same thing. A creature the size of a horse, covered in matted black fur, walking on 2 legs. Its head crowned with antlers, not graceful like a stag, but jagged and wrong, like broken branches fused with bone. One man died from exposure, another carved the beast into the side of his helmet, a third never spoke again. Delirium, the medic said, shell shock. But no one could explain why all 8 had the same hallucination, unless it wasn't hallucination at all. In 1941, a French historian cataloging abandoned buildings came across a locked trunk in a ruined farmhouse. Inside was the diary of Corporal Lucien Artaud, a soldier assigned to the 62nd Infantry. It had never been turned in to military records, and its entries were strange, fragmented, but haunting. Quote, "The beast fed last night, took the German before we could, left him folded backwards in the trees." Or, "It watches from the pines, and the wind moves around it." Another entry reads, "I dreamed it was here long before us. We didn't summon it, we woke it." And one man tried to follow it. "We found his hand in the morning." Then the entries end abruptly. No one knows what happened to Artaud. His name appears on no casualty lists. But the final page read, "This war is not the worst thing in this forest." Today, the Argentine woodlands are mostly quiet, but locals don't go near them after dark. They speak in hushed tones about the stand, a thicket where the trees grow too close together and the animals refused to enter. And strange things still happen. Dead deer found arranged in spirals, birds in flight suddenly dropping, a smell like rust that comes and goes without cause. One hiker claimed she saw a man standing motionless among the trees, antlers crowning his head, his face blank. When she looked again, he was gone. Near the edge of the forest is a monument to fallen soldiers, but some say there was once another marker, an unmarked stone, older than the war. It disappeared, or it was buried. Wars end, but not everything buried with them stays down. Some folklorists believe that the Black Beast is another tulpa, a creature born from human anguish, the psychic residue of mass death, given shape and purpose. Others trace it further back, to druidic rituals, pagan gods, forest spirits that predate Rome. The Black Beast, they say, is not a product of war. It's what watches war and feeds on the chaos. In 1917, millions died, and something in the woods took notice, and it waited. Chapter 3. The Devil's Breath. It started in the 14th arrondissement. In Paris, the city is broken up into neighborhoods that they call arrondissements. 3 university students disappeared within 6 months, all from different faculties, all last seen near the lesser-known entrances to the Paris catacombs, those unofficial, undocumented tunnels locals called off the map. Police chalked it up to runaways, coincidence, until they found the chalk. Just outside a sealed manhole, drawn in a trembling hand, was written, "Blood calls to blood." It was more than a phrase. It was an invocation. And for Émile Rousseau, it was déjà vu. Émile Rousseau had retired 5 years earlier. A gendarme turned soldier, he spent his afternoons reading medieval grimoires over espresso in the Latin Quarter. But in 1963, he led the investigation into the Marseille murders, unsolved killings with ritualistic symbols, disappearances, and whispered claims of devil worship. He'd seen these signs before. Symbols etched into thresholds, animal bones left in alleys, Latin incantations laced with what he recognized as twisted Alemannic phrases, old High German, the tongue of forgotten tribes. So when a pale, trembling woman entered his cafe and whispered, "They don't worship the devil, they become him," he listened. Her name was Camille, though she admitted it wasn't the name she was born with. She claimed she'd joined Le Soufflet des Diables after a professor at the Sorbonne invited her to a midnight lecture. But it wasn't a lecture. It was a calling. Held in a disused ossuary, the rituals began with fasting, chants, and the burning of sage. Then came the masks, the pelts, the blood, sometimes animal, but sometimes not. They invoked the loup-garou as a force of transformation. They didn't fear it. They aspired to it. Each ceremony ended with one member stripped, drugged, and taken into the deeper catacombs. Camille said they called it the crossing. Some came back changed, and some didn't come back at all. Rousseau brought his concerns to the police. They laughed, so he went home. With a borrowed utility map, a lantern, and a revolver he hadn't used in 20 years, he descended through a storm drain near the Montparnasse Cemetery. The route was illegal and unmapped. Even the oldest cataphiles, that's what they call explorers of Paris's underworld, even the oldest cataphiles avoided it. But he walked for hours, found bones, human, arranged in concentric circles. He found candles burnt down to puddles. He found a leather mask shaped like a wolf's face, torn and bloodied. And at the bottom of a narrow shaft, where no one had walked in years. Claw marks. Deep, violent, and recent. He emerged 12 hours later, white-haired and silent. He never entered the catacombs again. Weeks later, Rousseau was found dead. In his apartment. No signs of struggle, no forced entry. But scrawled into the plaster of his bedroom wall, in Latin, "Here the wolf sleeps. Do not wake him." The coroner ruled his death heart failure, but Camille disappeared the same week. So did the last known cataphile who mapped that section. The chalk markings vanished, but reports didn't. Howling, deep and guttural, heard beneath Montsouris Park. A tourist lost for 36 hours beneath Paris who refused to speak afterward. A mutilated stray dog pulled from an old aqueduct. The Devil's Breath, if it had disbanded, had gone deeper, or perhaps become something more. France has always walked with shadows. From the vineyards of Bordeaux to the wilds of Gévaudan, from the trenches of Normandy to the pine-dark hills of the Jura, and now beneath the feet of millions in Paris. The beast has many names. Loup-garou, the butcher, the black thing, the breath of the devil. Some say it's a myth stitched from medieval fear. Others say it's a force, a pattern, an old god or a primal trauma that migrates through time, finding hosts. But one thing is certain. In 1977, something moved beneath the city, and the city trembled. Thanks for listening to The Devil Within, European Vacation. Email us at info@evocreative.com, follow us on Instagram at The Devil Within Pod, and leave us a review if you believe the beast still lingers just beneath the surface. The Devil Within, The Beasts of France is an EVO production, recorded live at Bel Air Studios in Los Angeles, California. For The Devil Within, I'm Brandon Morgan, your writer and host.